Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the worst reviews ever. So tonight, man, it's just gonna be me and Casey Fred holding it down. Amazing had some stuff to do, and Wally has some stuff also. Actually, I fired him for giving those terrible ratings in the past, and I was just tired of it. I was like, you know what? The only one that gets some decent movie reviews was Casey Fred. He kind of slacked up last weekend, but I was like, you know what? He's pretty solid on everything else. I was like, man, let me rock out with my bro on this.
Hey, it's these horror films, baby. It's these horror films, man.
I feel you. I guess how you look at the horror films is how I look at like Christmas movies. I'm like, oh.
Now that I understand.
Okay. So that's the correlation and stuff. So I feel your pain. Because I thought about it. I was like, afterwards, I was like, okay, that's how I feel about so it makes sense. So it's like we all got to torture each other. We all got to go through it.
Yes.
But I see you rocking the Chiefs jersey, man. Shout out to the Chiefs.
Yeah, all day, every day. Hey, we got a game on Saturday. We're going to take care of business, knock out Texans, and then go to the AFC Championship. So, right. Hey, this year, when we get 3P, I got to put my ring order early. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to do that early.
On time. But don't worry, I'll be flashing it all, you know what I'm saying?
All right. No doubt. Shout out to the Chiefs. But we'll go ahead and jump into this review today. Of course, I know y'all can see the banner in the back. We're doing Gladiator 2. So Fred talked me into this one because he was like, he was like, yeah, you gotta go watch it. So definitely we gotta go ahead and jump into the review. So Gladiator 2 is a 2024 historical epic film directed and produced by Ridley Scott that serves as a sequel to Gladiator that came out in 2000. So the plot on this one is after his home is conquered by tyrannical emperors who now lead Rome, Lucius is forced to enter the Colosseum and must look to his past to find strength to return to the glory of Rome to his people. Sorry, give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and get to the directors and producers slide. So directed by, again, Ridley Scott, produced by Ridley Scott, Michael Pruss, Douglas Wick, Lucy Fisher, and David Frazzoni. All right, so the cast for this movie: Paul Mescal as Lucius versus Aurelius Hano, Pedro Pascal as General Acus, Connie Nielsen as Lucilla, Lucy's mother, Denzel Washington as Marquinus. Yeah, I'm definitely butchering some of these. Joseph Quinn as Emperor Geta, Fred Hessinger as Emperor Caracalla, Leo Raz as Vigo, Derek Jacobi as Seneca Gracchus, Peter Mensa as Juggernaut. Dang, boy, these old Roman names, man. Matt Lucas as Master of Ceremonies, Alexander Karim as Robbie. All right, we should be good right now.
I remember that day. I never forgot it. That a slave could take revenge against an emperor.
Where were you born?
I don't know. I never knew a mother nor a father.
You will be my instrument.
Who are you?
Did you hear that crowd? The greatest temple Rome ever built. The Colosseum. Because this is what they believe in. Power.
General Acacius, there are victories yet still to come.
Rome has so many subjects, she must feed them.
They can eat war.
The arena turns slaves into gladiators, the gladiators into free men.
You have something in you. I knew it from the start.
Did you now?
Rage. That rage is your gift.
This is about survival! Survive! Hold together, and when it charges, break for the wall.
Whose head could I give you that would satisfy this fury?
The entire Roman armies.
Too much?
The general will do.
Rome must fall. I need to only give it a push.
We'll make it out alive. All right. Tears on the mausoleum floor. Blood stains the Colosseum doors.
This ring belonged to Maximus. Now I give it to you. What is the dream of Rome? If people are not free.
I was owned. Now I will control an empire.
I will not waste another generation of young men for their vanity.
Strength to mother! This how Rome treats its heroes!
Tears on the mausoleum floor. Blood stains the Colosseum doors.
The gods of
Yeah, man.
That was a long trailer, man. They damn near played the whole movie right there, didn't they?
Hey, it's good, man. It's good.
All right, give me 1 second. So the last name on it was Senator Thrax. Yeah, for some reason it was like cut off. I couldn't see it, but yeah, that's his name right there. But all right, Fred, I'm gonna turn it over to you real quick for your rating. So what you rate this one?
Oh man. So a lot of times a number 2 movie does not really add up to the original. But I have to say, because I am an action junkie, and it also had Denzel Washington in there, I'm putting it right on the edge and give it a straight 9.
Okay. So you up there, you're in between excellent and classic.
Yes.
I'm up there.
And the only reason why I can't give it any higher is because one thing, this reminds me of the kind where back in the day when you used to have Blockbuster and you could buy movies, you would want to get the 2-pack, kind of like the way they do with the Matrix or Star Wars or something of that nature. You almost need both. But the beauty of it all is that at the very beginning, if you came early and was on time and got your popcorn and your nachos early, they literally gave you excerpts of the first movie at the very beginning of the second one. Okay. So it puts you right there and you'd be like, okay, aha moment, I'm here, let's go. So I thought I had to applaud them on that, because let's remember this movie is 24 years in the making. So because the first one came out.
Oh yeah, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 8.2. So I'm in excellent territory. So let me go ahead and toss the questions to you, because you was giving an excellent intro. I didn't even want to interrupt you. I was about to be like, hey, go ahead, do your thing. But I gave it an 8.2. So you definitely a little higher. But we we're in the same room. Like I definitely thought it was an excellent movie. So all right, it's on you.
Yeah. So the reason why I gave this movie a 9 is, hey, it's one of those that it just brings everything to fruition. I mean, they show you how the son of the guy who all of a sudden conquered Rome's hearts, Marcus, was the one that died in the arena, which happened to be his father. But at the end of the day, because of the situation of how he was born, they had to hide him, because at the end of the day, it was just like people were looking for him because he was the only heir to the throne. And they wanted to be able to get rid of any heirs whatsoever. And so all of a sudden, the mom says, hey, you got to go. And so all of a sudden sends him away, and he ends up going to some far, far, far away country, being raised by other people that, he didn't even know. And it just felt like he was always constantly on the run. But then, of course, he all of a sudden, ironically, they say history has a tendency to repeat itself. He ends up meeting a woman that eventually becomes his wife, and then she gets killed, just like the way it was with his father, And I just thought that was real ironic too. And so at the end, next thing you know, he all of a sudden, because she dies, he all of a sudden gets captured, and then next thing you know, he's thrown and brought back to Rome, but this time as a slave. And then that's where all of a sudden you meet Denzel, because one thing, he happens to be at the place where they put all the slaves, they brand them, they all of a sudden mark him, and then he's going to be a fighter. And then he proves himself because he's fought so many times before in so many battles and wars at a young age, that all of a sudden, next thing you know, Denzel sees him and says, I see the rage in you. I know how to pick fighters. Because what people fail to understand, Denzel at one time used to be a fighter himself. And so he picks him, and all of a sudden he proves himself. And then the next thing you know, it's on. And the reason why in the cut where you see he wants to go after the general, because when the general came to attack his land where him and his wife were, they not only, she was the one that had the bow and arrow, and she was doing so good. She was killing people and stuff and sniping, almost like a sniper. And that general saw her and had them point their arrows straight at her, and that's how she died. And she fell off the top of the little castle or whatever and fell right into the water and stuff like that. And so that she died. And so after that, it was just, that you consume, because that was the love of your life. And next thing you know, that rage is inside of him. So not only does he have the rage of not knowing really he knew who his parents were, but his mom gave him up. So here he is, name change. He's not Lucius, but he's Hano, and that's what he goes by. And he's in foreign land. But then all of a sudden, the same people, this general kills his wife. And I think what gave him even more rage is when he finally all of a sudden is brought back to Rome, and he looks up and he sees that general and realizes that general is with his original birth mother. And that's him to a whole nother level. And so, and it wasn't until it was in the arena where she saw him and was realizing that he was doing some of the same things that his father did. And so all of a sudden she realized, that's got to be Lucius. That's got to be Lucius. And so game on. So she figures out a way to go see him. He says, I don't want nothing to do with him. And she says, well, I just want you to know, if it wasn't for me trying to protect you and send you on your way, you wouldn't be alive. But if you're not going to take a mother's love, then take your daddy's strength. And so the more he found out, especially through a doctor, because the doctor that was taking care of his wounds and stuff like that, took him down to underneath Rome. I guess there was like this tomb or whatever. And there's where all of a sudden he saw his daddy's sword, his breastplate, and his shield and all that. And so, and the markings above it and everything. And then it started all coming back to him slowly but surely. It just felt like everything was coming back to him. And he realized his dad was not only a good man, but a great man. And so next thing you know, he's striving to all of a sudden, it took him to the end, but he finally embraced it. And that's where I get into the plot and the storyline. When you follow this, you literally are taken on a journey, and there's so much action that is going on. And being an action junkie, I love it. I was absorbing all of it. I'm eating the nachos. I'm like, oh, this is good. This is good. and I was just into it. I mean, it got you because it felt like you was on a roller coaster. Like it was taking you from moment to moment to moment. And you found yourself rooting for Lucius, who happens to be Hano. But, eventually there are certain people that realize who he is. And then Denzel, who's a fighter, but he has his own selfish ambition. And he's really using Hano to be able to all of a sudden as a champion, not only to win because he's even betting on him and stuff like that, but also he has a selfish agenda because he literally wants to be able to rule and take over. And which eventually that's one of the scenes. If I go right into the scenes or performances, I would definitely have to give it to Denzel. You know, he doesn't play the bad guy a lot. And at the beginning, you really kind of think that he is a good guy until you realize that his own selfishness, his own ambition is so hyped that he's willing to kill his own champion that he brought all the way to the top. Because when he realizes that even the people of Rome are embracing Hanno and want him as their leader and their champion, well, hey, he's killed 2 emperors. He's killed all these different people. He's like, well, hey, if I got to kill you at the very end of the movie, if I got to kill you so that way I can just be number 1, then so be it, because don't get it twisted. I've been a champion. I know what it's like. And so at the end of the day, they end up fighting. And at the end, I mean, sorry to be a spoiler, but hey, Lucius handled the real guy that's actually has the full right to the throne. He ends up winning, and he ends up all of a sudden pulling off the very thing that his dad dreamed about. And actually it came to fruition, and that is Rome being free. And so it was really, really cool. Like I said, the guy to play Hanno, he was good. He showed leadership like Buddy. I know I talk about a rose or a flower that opens, it's closed, but opens up. You see him and his character build really keep just thriving and opening up, and just you could just smell the fire and the fury and the rage in him, and you just find yourself rooting for him. And then, you know, he had certain people along the side, like the guy that trained him. He knew that he had greatness and put greatness in Hanno and stuff, and really taught him how to fight. And I remember when they got captured, and he even told him up front, he was like, hey, I'm injured. You saw his arm was split wide open and everything. And he said, man, we're going to a place. I'm just going to tell you up front, I know I'm not going to survive. And they had wild monkeys. That was the other thing about these scenes, man. They had some wild scenes like never before. I've never seen like a Coliseum have wild monkeys in there. And Hanno ended up biting one of the monkeys. And so all the slaves started calling him Monkey Boy, Monkey Man. So, which that was hilarious too, but he ended up killing him. And that's actually one of the things that helped Denzel be like, hey, you know what? I want to buy this slave right here. There's something about him. And that's actually how he got picked. But then there was other scenes where all of a sudden, like the one with the ships, and I've never seen a Coliseum full with water, and it actually had sharks in there. And you found yourself like, come on, man, this is back in the day. You sure y'all had sharks? But I mean, the special effects was really cool. And it was just like there was a battle and stuff. And it was the slaves versus the Roman soldiers and stuff like that. And they just made it big and spectacular. And you just got hype and full of it. You know, it was the guy, the real tall warrior. He's been the champion of Rome, and he was on top of a rhino. And Hanno and some slaves had to go against him and stuff. And then I remember the moment where all of a sudden the guy versus the champion guy that was on top of the rhino had to fight Hanno at the end. And all of a sudden Hanno fell down, and the emperor was like, should I give mercy? And Hanno was like, I don't want no mercy. Man, he hurry up and grab that sword and killed that dude so fast, so quick. And the crowd goes, wow, you know what I'm saying? And they're all saying his name, Hanno, Hanno. And I mean, you just saw the character build up and saw that passion. And it was exactly the same way his father was in the very first movie. And so as it was with the father, now it's also with the son. And it was so incredible. And I was just loving it. If it was anything that I could change about this movie, I would literally say, I hope there's a third one. Like, that's how good I felt it was. Like, hey, give me a third one. Come on, give me a Trinity. We got Matrix 3, we got Star Wars 10, we got Rambo 10, we got, all these movies.
I don't
Even
know
Top
about all
Gun
that.
got the third one coming out. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I wouldn't change anything. I loved it. It literally captured a champion. You saw the rise of a champion. You saw the people gather around him, and they all of a sudden, it was all about hope. That was another thing. They said it was a dream that they thought that Ron would never see, and yet all of a sudden, with the help of this new champion, Hano, he brought it into fruition, and it came to pass. So, like I said, man, it's a good movie to watch. Would I recommend it to anyone? You know what? This is a movie. It's a 9. I would recommend it to everybody. And so for it to be a second movie after the first one was so good back in 2000, I say kudos to everyone that was involved because they really performed very well. There's quite a few guys that was in there that I haven't mentioned that gave great performances as well. But for real, I'm definitely a Denzel Washington brother. I enjoy all his movies. And I know he all of a sudden started off good and ended up being bad, but you see that in a lot of antagonists, you know what I mean, as far as going up against champions and stuff, and the champions always end up prevailing. So it was good. I highly recommend it, and I'm gonna give the floor back to you, bro. Sorry for taking up so much time, but hey, I'm full. It was good, bro. It was good.
All right. So my rating again was a 8.2. It was an excellent territory. And the reason I gave this movie, I'll say that rating, is because I like how, well, first of all, I think the person that wrote the movie did a good job. Like,
definitely.
I always talk about it, man. I think, man, if you write a movie, man, and you might think you want to have a sequel, it's like, man, you got to set up the plot and the storyline to actually get to that. And I think they did a good job, like, like I said, creating that story, because like in Gladiator, Lucius was in there. You saw him talk to Maximus. You saw like Maximus and his mom have those interactions where they had that relation. They didn't go too deep, but they did a good job introducing that to set up the second movie. So whoever did the writing, great writer. Because a lot of times, like you said, they'll try to come up with a sequel, and there, it really doesn't connect. They be trying to like force the connection. So I think I like how they showed that movie tying back, because even at the end, the boy lived, so it made sense. Like she's like, hey, we got to get him out of here, because her family line, her brother was all crazy in part 1, and everybody was turned against him. So it just made sense. So I like how they connected everything. Got him up out of there. He grew up in a whole different area and stuff, and came back through like slavery after they were conquered and stuff. So I like how they tied all that together. So definitely a strong plot and storyline. So yeah, I definitely have to give them kudos for that. The scenes and performances, you kind of hit on some of those. I thought the fight scenes was tough.
Yes.
So yeah, like the first scene was like with those like crazy monkeys. I mean, it was just a good concept, because I think on this one, don't get me wrong, like Gladiator, the first one, I thought the plot and the storyline was better. They had a lot more dialogue, and I'll say like acting that was probably better. But this sequel, definitely the fighting scenes was like way better, because the first one was the monkeys, and then the second one, the one with the ship, because at first I was like, why the hell they on ships? I was like, what's this got to do with the Coliseum? I was like, man, this is gonna be corny. As soon as they started like doing the maneuvering of the ship and stuff, I was like, oh, this is tough. And then the sharks were all swimming around. So I'm like, man, like, yeah, they stepped it up. Like you said, the scene with the rhino, and then the one scene when he had to go against his I say what, stepdad or whatever, because he was with the mom, the general. That was actually pretty tough too, because it had the dynamic in there. And then the performances, like Denzel, I actually have to give you some pushback. He wasn't a villain in this movie. He was a hero. I think him conniving, you know, he was like, look, man, I got to take over. I got to lead this to the right direction. They had them two little weak generals. So, you know, he's like, look, man, I got to take them out. I got to do all this other stuff. Lucius' mom's back there conniving, trying to set up stuff. He was like, nah, man, I need to come in here and save the day. So he was actually a hero, man. If you
okay, I'll save my pushback. I'll let you finish, but you definitely getting some pushback because I'm about to bust out some Rocky on you real quick. You know what I'm saying? Because, well, let's just go. The bottom line of it is this: who was the champion in Rocky? Apollo Creed. So at the end of the day, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And that's how it was even in this one. Because yes, Denzel is a champion. But at the end of the day, he wants to be number one. And there can only be one number one. Just like the Chiefs, baby. You can't beat the Chiefs. They're going to be the Super Bowl champions back to back to back. You know what I'm saying?
See, and that's why I couldn't
in there real quick.
That's why I couldn't go higher than an 8.2 because I was just like, you can't kill a hero in a story. So when my man snuffed him with the rock, because at first, Denzel was giving him that work because you know, when they started fighting, I was like, oh, Denzel, you know, he kind of old, he got he graying out. Denzel was like, look, let's get it on.
When the arm got chopped off, I said,
yeah. But I'm saying, like, before that, he was giving Lucius that
work. Baby.
Yeah, but before that, he was giving Lucius that work. So I was like, you know, then Denzel definitely held his ground. But I get it, man. That's where the writing got a little sloppy because it was like, hey, man, we got to kill the hero Denzel, make Lucius take over. So that's the only change I would make. I would have made it where, like, Lucius, he gave a good speech, but Denzel just beats him and is like, look, I'm in charge now. I'm gonna hey, we're gonna run it. We're gonna remember Lucius and all them, but it's my reign. Let's go back.
Hey, I wish at that fighting scene at the very end between Lucius and Denzel, Denzel should have just said, King Kong ain't got nothing on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he got gangster out there. He was plotting, but them two little emperors, them cats were weak. So I was like, when he took them out, I'm like, okay, yes.
Yeah, he took them out quick. It was crazy. So, and all you had to do was just plant the seed between one another, and they started fighting. And then he was over there slitting throats and just stabbing people. So I was just like, yeah, that was a piece of cake. So, yeah.
Yeah, but would I recommend this? Absolutely, I definitely recommend this. But if you haven't watched part one, go watch that first, then watch this one. But yeah, they're definitely a great movie. They never should have killed a hero though. They try to prop Lucius up as the hero. It's like, nah.
He is the rightful heir to the throne. Just like the Chiefs, baby. You know what I'm saying? Back-to-back champions.
But you know, the actual character that Denzel played, he actually became emperor.
Yeah.
In that. So yeah, that's actually how it played out. So
yeah.
And that's another thing I did like. Some of the, even though, you know, they had to twist it a little bit to make the movie, you know, there's still like historical facts with all this movie. Because I was looking at the two brothers that were emperors, and yeah, they actually did kill each other. You know, the one killed the other one, and then so it was a lot of reality in the storyline.
But I don't think the sharks were real though.
Nah, they weren't real. Them and the monkeys. But all right. So Fred, you gonna stay the same? You going up in your rating? You going down based on what you heard?
You know, as much as I love classic movies, I don't feel like it was classic, but I do feel like it was definitely excellent. So I'm gonna keep it right there on the edge of that 9, and I'm just gonna stay right there. Definitely worth watching the movie, and I want everyone to know, hey, listen. I ate all my nachos. I'm telling you, it was that good. So yeah, definitely.
But all right, I got to drop at a point after hearing myself so eloquently speak.
What, 8.1?
I got to drop at a point. I got to go down to like 8.1. I had it at 8.2, but I got to go because you just can't kill a hero, man. Even though they made him look like he was conniving, man, he was doing that for the good of Rome. So he was a hero in my book. Man. And the fact that they like they just annihilated a hero like that, like just killed him off in the movie. I have to deduct 1 point, like a 0.1.
Only be one.
Yeah, so
even in the Super Bowl, there can only be one. It's the automatic KC Chiefs. You know what I mean? That's just like there's only one KC Fridge. You don't see a whole bunch of KC Fridge walking around here. It's only just one, baby. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel you.
Lucius went ahead and he is the rightful heir, and he did what he needed to do. And you know what? Hey, champion all day, every day.
So I'm a 8.1, so still in excellent territory, but yeah, they did Denzel. They should have kept him. But all right, y'all, definitely keep tuning in. Keep watching the movies. Keep a lot of people been sending me recommendations, so keep doing that also. But all right, y'all, we out of here. Peace.
KC, baby.